Hi, I'm Mitch Shoemaker, and today is day 77 of my doing 100 days of YouTube videos and focusing on today. So, yay, I made it today, 77. I kind of want to say today was a disappointment, but it wasn't entirely. I slept a little bit longer than I have the last couple of days, but not as well as I would have liked. Kept waking up intermittently and then not being able to go back to sleep when I was tired. So I always hate feeling like I'm still tired but still trying to get up and do stuff. So I just didn't do a whole lot today. I think I'm just kind of worn out because I've done so much the last couple of days that my body was just rebelling a little bit. And I realized when I got up that I just didn't have the energy and didn't want to push myself to do some things that I know need to be done. So I was a little disappointed at that because I knew my day wasn't going to go the way that I wanted to. But I still chose to read my scriptures and meditationals, and then I called my sponsor and from my Al-Anon meetings, and we talked for like an hour. And somewhere in the middle of the conversation, I was telling her about stuff that's going on with me, and then at some point she's like, okay, let's just change the subject, because I was like repeating myself for a second. This is like the whole repetitious thing, and you go down like some kind of negative spiral. So we need to talk about something more upbeat, something we're looking forward to. And so we made plans to do something at the end of the month, and we started talking about more upbeat stuff, and I was encouraging her to work on some things, and she was encouraging me, and she's like, okay, so now we need to focus on doing positive things that make us feel good about ourselves, and like getting out and being around people. And that was like kind of like her idea, but it was a nice idea. And so I got off the phone feeling lighter, feeling more upbeat, and being like, okay. And I was telling her stuff that I've been doing and realizing in my life, and I'm like, this is cool, this is great. So I was very grateful that I felt impressed to call her and to have that conversation, because it just really kind of boosted my spirits a little bit. And then I still didn't do anything, honestly. I did not get anything done around my house today. I thought about it and I was like, I just don't have the energy today. I did try to mess with my book covers. My friend sent me back her stuff that she did, and I was like, cool. But I couldn't figure out something I wanted to do, so I just left it alone. And then I went to my writing club tonight, which I love going to that. So it was fun. We had a new person that came tonight and got to hear some of her writing. Amazing. Fun. And it was kind of interesting because we met in person, but we still had a couple of people that chose to meet electronically. And I don't know if it was like Zoom or Cloud or whatever it was. So it was kind of fun. We're passing around somebody's laptop so they can see whoever's speaking or sharing or whatever while we're doing it. But it was nice because we were able to include everybody that wanted to come, even if they didn't want to come like in person. So that was kind of a different way of doing things. It was interesting, but it was good. And so that was fun. So we did all of that. So and of course, me as a secretary, I just took roll, made sure I did all of that stuff, updated information, sent it out to people. So doing my lovely little job there. But it was cool because I did it all while I was there, so I don't have to remember to do it later. I'm like, yay, I don't have to remember to do things later. But it was so nice to just to get out, to be around people, to be in a group of people. And I didn't share any of my writing. I mean, I've got some stuff I know I haven't shared that I've done, but it's been months since I've worked on something, so I didn't feel comfortable sharing. And it was good because I had to leave a few minutes early to go pick up my friend and give her a ride home. But I was telling her about my writing group, and then I was talking to her about my book, Recognizing God's Hand in My Life. And I was telling her, I'm kind of nervous and trying to figure out the whole, whether to use people's real names or not names or what to do with it. And then as I was sharing with her, I started telling her part of my story, and I could just feel like the Spirit was taking over. And I just felt so strong and confident. And when I was done, she was like, wow, that is quite the testimony. And I was like, it is. And then, I kind of, that feeling went away when I said, but I'm still kind of worried, like how, other people will respond or whatever. But she reminded me again that I'd said to her earlier that I don't have control over how people respond. And it's my story that I'm telling. It's not about the other people. So people can draw their own conclusions. And I don't have to necessarily paint people in a bad light, but I had certain experiences that other people their actions affected me, and part of that actually helped me become who I am, and helped me to have the faith that I have, and the belief in God that I have, and the knowledge that, He answers prayers and He's there, and that it doesn't matter how hard a thing that I'm going through. He's aware of me, and He's there to comfort me. He's not going to take away the trial or the pain, but He's going to make it, bearable, give me the peace in the midst of all the chaos. And I had that peace when I was talking to my friend, and I was just sharing with her about my book. And then I realized that it's like, okay, that's why I'm writing this story, is to share, to hopefully uplift people, to bring people to God, or at least, let them see that just because bad things happen doesn't mean that God doesn't care, that He isn't loving, because He's still very loving. He just allows us our agency, and He also takes those things and helps us to learn and to grow from them. And so it gave me another perspective of my book, and reminded me the purpose of writing my book. And when I focus on that, and focus on having that spirit, it filled me. It made me warm and comfortable and confident, and I was like, I can totally do this. And when I focus on the world and what other people's responses are, then I feel anxious, and I feel small and tiny, and like afraid to move forward. So it was a very vivid not vision, that's not the right word, but I mean very vivid contrast between where my focus is at. And if it's on God, and doing positive things and what He wants, then He will give me that spirit. He will give me that confidence, and I can conquer anything that I'm supposed to conquer, or get through whatever life throws at me. But if I focus on the world and what other people think of me, then I feel small and insignificant, and I'm afraid to try. And so it was all about where I'm placing my focus, where I'm placing my confidence, if I'm seeking God's approval, or if I'm seeking the world's approval. And it was such a drastic contrast between how I felt to just feel so warm and tall and confident, like I can totally do this, and totally at peace. Like it was just so easy, and it just flowed out of me. And then thinking about how other people might react, and it was like suddenly small and tiny. And I was like, okay. But it made me very grateful for that opportunity, grateful that I spoke up, grateful that I chose to share with this person about my story, and what it means to me, and the things that I have learned. And then to realize that the whole point of writing that book is to share with others what I've learned, and to heal, to go back and look at the pain and things, and to recognize how God has blessed my life, and how it has made me a stronger, better person because of that. That, I was probably always a little bit, not necessarily rebellious isn't the right word, but I probably always was a little bit different, and I always felt uncomfortable with things that weren't good or that weren't right. And I always misinterpreted it, thinking that there was something wrong with me, and not maybe some of the other people. And I'm not saying everyone in my life was wrong growing up, but I learned not to trust myself, and I used to think that if I wasn't making other people happy, then there was something wrong with me. I wasn't doing it right. Or why don't people love me or want to be with me? What's wrong with me? It's like, okay, yeah, there's things wrong with me. I'm not perfect, but I also don't deserve to be treated that way. And I need to find healthier people that will treat me better and treat myself better. And if I'm around people like my sponsor today that says uplifting things, or my friend tonight that reminded me my own words, that it's not about what other people say. I have no control over that. It's about sharing my story and my testimony. And even just in sharing my testimony with her tonight, and feeling God's spirit, and just lifting me and making me feel so comfortable and confident. And then unintentionally just pushing that aside, going back, well, but I'm still afraid. I'm like, what do I have to be afraid of? Because God takes away all of that fear. I just have to ask. I just have to ask for His help, and I just have to focus on that. And the whole purpose, the big picture, the perspective, not the overwhelming big picture. I know it's still going to take me, a chapter at a time, puzzle piece at a time to finish the project, but the idea isn't to worry about how other people are going to respond or react. It's doing what I feel like I'm supposed to do and letting, you know, letting it happen the way that God intends it to happen instead of, worrying about what people are going to think. So it just really made me feel good, like more. Um, I guess it increased my desire to finish, to go back and rewrite my book. I want to work on it some more, but I'm just really tired. And I came home and I wrote in my journal, and I just, like I said, I didn't do anything else today. I vegged in front of my TV and played games because I think I just wore myself out the last couple of days, but it honestly has felt good to me. It felt good to go for a walk the last couple of days. It felt good to read my scriptures and meditationals, to feel like I'm doing stuff, even if it's only for a couple of hours. And um, even though I wasn't up walking around or doing something, I did turn my TV off to read my scriptures and meditationals. I did spend an hour talking to my sponsor on the phone. I went to a writing group for 2 hours. I took my friend back to her house, and then we sat outside and talked for like 2 hours. So done a lot of talking, a lot of sharing, and just that socialization part of things, that aspect was just very uplifting, I think, and a little bit healing. And it made me feel good. And then I came home and I'm like, you know what, I'm just really tired, so I don't think I'm going to get anything out of watching conference or doing anything else tonight. And I was having a hard time focusing on writing in my journal. I just was like, I'm just not awake. I just, my brain. So I'm hoping that I will sleep well tonight, because I have a friend coming over tomorrow to do stuff. And I've liked that I've got something to do every day this week. And there were some other things I wanted to do today. And then I realized, as I was thinking about doing those other things today, that I had plans for tonight, and I didn't want to overextend myself. I didn't want to be so exhausted that I wouldn't be able to do the stuff that I wanted to tonight. And it actually makes me grateful that I didn't do anything else, because I didn't have the energy to do anything else today. And the things I wanted to do today probably won't get done tomorrow either. They'll probably wait till Friday or Saturday or whatever. And I'm not going to worry about it, because I know I've got my friend coming over, and I know I have a meeting, and I'm giving someone a ride tomorrow night as well. So but I'm grateful to have things like on my schedule, things that I know that I'm doing. And because it makes me feel good to be around other people. It makes me feel good to know that I'm doing things, and trying to remember that it makes me feel better to do things, and that there are ways to get out of my little funk or my depression or even my disappointment that my day's not going to go the way that I want it to. And who knows, maybe tomorrow I'll have more energy or motivation, and I'll do other things that I don't think I'm going to do tonight, because I don't know what tomorrow brings. And maybe I'll get enough rest from today or tonight that I'll be up and running tomorrow. I don't have any idea, and it doesn't matter. I'm grateful that I've been able to do things the last few days, and that I've had some kind of realization about myself, and about my relationship with God, and how He's helping me and blessing me in my life, and just the whole letting go and focusing more on today and what I'm going to do today, and choosing not to be disappointed even if I'm not doing a whole bunch of things today, and deciding that, okay, I'm probably not going to have the energy to run the errands that I want to run today, because I want to go to my meeting, and I have, agreed to give a friend a ride. So I I chose not to do certain things, because I knew I had other things planned, and I know that I could do that again tomorrow, and I'm grateful for that, because it allowed me to maybe in some small way have a balance, to maybe not overdo it, but to still continue to do things. I hope I didn't like totally overdo it, but I am really tired, and hopefully going to bed earlier, which is also, it's a good thing, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the things that I'm learning, the opportunities that I'm having, and I know it's not doing all the things that I want to do, but I'm grateful that I'm starting to find more of a balance, that I'm just accepting that I have limitations and I'm not trying to overdo it, but I'm still pushing myself to do things, and I am doing things. So that makes me happy, and I'm grateful that I could be happy, that I can smile, that I didn't let my disappointment of being too tired and going, okay, I'm not going to do certain things that I wanted to get accomplished today, and so. But I didn't let that disappointment get the better of me. And, I reached out, I made a phone call, I did the other things that I had planned with other people, and it was good, and I'm grateful for that. And it's inspired me to work on my story some more, hearing other people's writings tonight and their stories and how amazing it is, and then sharing with my friend, and it's like, okay, I think I may be ready to start working on my books again. And it's something I know I've needed to do, and it's been in my mind and a lot to do it. And so I'm grateful for things that are falling into place, coming together to boost my confidence, to remind me that this is what I'm supposed to do, and that it'll be okay by doing this. So that makes me very happy, and I'm very grateful for that. And that's pretty much my day today. So if you like these videos, you can hit like, subscribe, share with someone else if you think they'll like it too. And I hope you have a great day full of gratitude, and maybe do some writing.